John Muir came up here when nobody was coming, and he went into Glacier Bay with native guides in a canoe, and he called it an absolute fairyland. And he said that it's beyond description.
Glacier Bay is its wildness at its prime.
It is a place of beauty, memory, and love. Spending time in Glacier Bay to me becomes very emotional the first time I arrive in Glacier Bay. Glacier Bay is an ancestral homeland to my people, and so when I enter Glacier Bay, it's like a blanket being put around me. It not only feeds your soul but strengthens your heart.
It's a place where you can go and not see even a kayak or another person for days. And you can be 65 miles from any sort of road. You can be in the middle of nowhere and feel at peace with everything.
The native people that originally came from Glacier Bay are the 4 clans that now live in the village of Hoona. Of course, this was thousands of years ago. They lived in Glacier Bay year-round.
So the history of Glacier Bay begins long before any explorers came. The Hoona Tlingit people, they say they lived in the shadow of a glacier. And when the glacier actually began to advance, they had to flee their homeland. It advanced so far, it came out into Icy Strait, and in about 1794, George Vancouver marked on the map where he saw that ice face. And where we are today, the glacier had actually receded up 65 miles in only about over 200 years. So it's the fastest known retreat in the world of science anywhere in the world. So this is a really unique place to see glacial healing process of how everything comes back to life.
So he came up here late 1870s and was able to go into Glacier Bay about 40 miles and camp on Russell Island and see glaciers in action. Steamships started bringing tourists up here, and then the scientists started coming as well. Geologists started coming in, and all these scientists were the driving force. They would go back to Washington, D.C. and constantly lobby the government. Hey, this is a special place. end of the earth, the birth of the world, is continuing before our eyes. Let's lock it up. Let's make it a national park.
What's often 60-65 miles down in the mouth of Glacier Bay is very different, as you could probably see around me now, from what is up here. It's called Lamplugh the Blue because of its very vivid blue colors. It is a tidewater glacier, but only at high tide, which also is unique about this glacier here.
I remember the way it was when I was a child, and I remember the way it is today. And it's still good. It's still beautiful. The changes are part of nature, and we all adapt.
Every time I go into Glacier Bay, just when I think, okay, I've been there, done it, seen it all, it's constantly surprising. We're different every day. We're different every year. Hopefully, we're evolving and learning. And the depth of experience in Glacier Bay is as deep as 1,000 feet of water and 15,000-foot mountain peaks in there. Watching the faces of people that come to Alaska, not knowing what to expect, maybe coming here reluctantly because the other spouse wanted to come. And by Glacier Bay, going in, experiencing it, and certainly when we come out, they come up and say, Mike, how do I move to Alaska?
Marjorie Glacier is very unique in the sense that it's a healthy glacier. 95% of our glaciers in Alaska are unhealthy, so they're receding or they're melting, but the Marjorie Glacier is holding her own. She's one of the 5% of healthy glaciers. So we not only get to see her calve and break off that ice, but we get to be happy about that because she's able to reinitiate that ice when the snow keeps falling from the Fairweather Mountains, and that's her source. So she's definitely one of the highlights of Glacier Bay because not only is she an active glacier, moves about 6 feet forward through the mountains every day. We get to see enormous calving sometimes. We get to hear the calving. When that ice falls in the water, you get to see the gulls swoop in. There's a lot of energy, a lot of activity happening, even though it's something that's not even alive. And I just think it's a really spectacular thing to see something move like that.
And I like to tell people that a glacier is much like your checkbook. It all depends on what's being spent on the front end and what's being saved or deposited on the back end. But the sight of looking out from the cruise ship, seeing 250-foot tall wall of ice, sapphire, sparkling blue, and then looking above and seeing the ice, a river, solid river, go up near the summit of Mount Fairweather for 21 miles. It's just one of the greatest sights on planet Earth. So Marjorie gets fed by Fairweather. That jagged 15,000-foot peak going up 3 vertical miles catches all that moisture, catches that precipitation, and feeds that glacier. As it's flowing forward down that steep mountainside, that's a lot of pressure on the ice. It's cracking. And when that ice hits the salt water, even though the water is very, very cold, it's warmer than the ice is. So it's high up, 250 feet tall at the top icy spires of Marjorie. It also extends that far down the ice does into the water, where it anchors an icy foot on a rock bed down there. So you've got that warm salt water. It's very corrosive. Chewing away at the bottom ice, you've got all that gravity, 21 miles down that steep mountainside, pushing those crevices and crevasses that are cracking forward. So when the ice weakens at the face, then the natives have a great description for the sound. It's called white thunder. And it does. It thunders, it reverberates through your soul forever.
You never hear ice that big crack when you're at home. All you hear is your ice cubes in the ice cube tray. You never imagine that it can have such a reverberating sound. So I just remember standing in silence and just appreciating the fact that we can hear nature speaking.
Calving is more than a visual experience. Of course, we've all seen photographs and watched videos of ice falling into the water, but when folks get here and they hear the ice falling into the water, they're often surprised. The sound sometimes reverberates for miles, and many folks are even a little bit startled when they first hear it. It makes an incredible impact. The native peoples here, the Tlingit peoples, who have lived here for many, many centuries, they had a term for calving. They called it white thunder.
Everything is intense in Glacier Bay. Everything is large. Everything is magnified. Many of the passengers will come up to me and say, "You must just feel like a small part of the world coming from this beautiful place." And my answer to them would be, "And how do you feel?"
Every time I go into Glacier Bay, just when I think, okay, I've been there, done it, seen it all, it's constantly surprising. We're different every day. We're different every year. Hopefully, we're evolving and learning. And the depth of experience in Glacier Bay is as deep as 1,000 feet of water and 15,000-foot mountain peaks in there.
Look at that.
Oh, wow.
What a shot.
Yeah.